Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Theory Thursday. Every Thursday we get together and we have a look at some part of Blood Bowl. We take a bit of a deep dive. Basically, whether it's stats or strats, we try and find a specific part of Blood Bowl, have a look at it, and see what we can learn to make our games better. So this week we are going to be looking at one of my favourite topics in Blood Bowl: wizards. In particular, we're going to be looking at the standard wizard from the Blood Bowl rulebook, because I think, and if you guys have played a lot of Blood Bowl 2, you'll know that wizards actually became quite an important part of the meta. We don't see them on tabletop very often, and they do tend to be disallowed in tournaments, but with BB3 right around the corner, or at least the beta being here now, and Blood Bowl 2020 being played out on the tabletop everywhere now, I figured the wizards are going to come up even more. So we're going to have a look at the standard wizard with Fireball and Zap. So first of all, what is a wizard? So a wizard is an inducement. It is an infamous coaching staff inducement. So it takes up one of your 0 to 2 infamous coaching staff, and you can take one wizard. I hate this rule. I think you should be able to take unlimited wizards. They're 150k as an inducement, so you need to be down a significant chunk of TV. Basically, I kind of just want to run Snotlings with like 6 wizards and just have a ridiculous game. However, that's probably not the right thing for Blood Bowl, so we'll ignore that for now. So 150k will get you this inducement. You can use it once per game. This is the downside of the wizards. They're cool, but one go, and if it fails, that is it. We're going to look at the fail case scenarios for each of the spell modes. Now, there is 2 spell modes, so when you come to use your wizard, you get to choose whether you want to shoot a fireball onto the pitch or zap the target player into a frog. Tell me this isn't the best game out there. So you get one chance, and basically you get to pick of 2 spells, and let's have a look and see why you'd choose those spells. We're going to start off with the quintessential wizard spell of the world. Of the world? I don't know. There's not really that many wizards in the world that I know of. Anyway, the Fireball. So the Fireball is a explosion on the pitch that encompasses 9 squares. That is a reasonable chunk of the pitch. You choose one target square anywhere on the pitch. Then you roll for that target square and every square next door to it. So that is up to 9 squares are going to get hit by a conflagration of doom. So basically, you pick that square and then you roll a 4+ for everybody affected. So that's the target square and each of the ones next door. It is an order that you choose, and on a 4+, that player gets knocked down to the ground. And then you roll armor, and it's with Mighty Blow as well. So this is a pretty decent opportunity to blow up an area of the pitch. Now, it got FAQ'd, so it's important to know this. It's used at the end of either player's turn. Now, I believe previously it said use at the start of the turn, which can cause the ball carrier to become damaged, therefore causing a turnover and instant removal of an opponent's turn. We're not time walking in Blood Bowl just yet, although that would be an interesting wizard. Man, that would be a heck of a wizard. Cheeky 5+, opponent skips its next turn. Brutal. Anyway, use the end of either player's turn. So basically it gets to the end of your turn, you've done what you can, it gets to the end of the opponent's turn, they've caged up. Then you get a really good chance to blow up their cage. You're rolling 4 dice for each player affected, and then you get to roll Mighty Blow against them as well. So all you need to do is cheeky 4+ on the ball carrier and that ball pops loose. However, the optimum target for a fireball is the cage. So the cage can be a difficult nut to crack in Blood Bowl, and this is where the fireball comes in so often in Blood Bowl 2, in Fumble, to be honest with you, because you get this cage scenario, and if you are rolling 4+ for this guy, for this guy, for this guy, for this guy, and the ball carrier, there's only a 3% chance all of it's going to fail. So you have a 97% chance of knocking down at least one of those guys. And the wizard, this is at the end of their turn. It can be at the end of your turn, but realistically we're going to be doing this at the end of their turn. And the reason you're doing it at the end of their turn is to set up a jolly good blitz for your team. So if you are rolling a 97% shot at taking away one of these players, let's talk through some of the situations you can be left with. If the ball carrier goes down, that ball is not going to be there. It's going to be there, 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 or there. Potentially, it's going to be caught by one of the players on the edge. There is no cage anymore. This is a genuine Matrix, there is no spoon situation. If that ball is not here, it is in access. of absolutely everybody else. Now, we're assuming they've not got a double layered cage, because if they're playing a Death Star maneuver, you've already lost that game. So taking the ball out with the ball carrier is potentially the best outcome here. The ball is then loose, or you have a very good target. But let's think, if this fails out and you just take down one player on the corner, you actually still have a chance to blitz the ball carrier now. You have opened that cage, and now you will have one shot at taking out that ball. That's fantastic. That is with one 4+ roll succeeding out of 5. Now, if it's a side cage, you're going to have slightly less success. So if this is the actual, and they're off the pitch, then you only get 3 chances to pull off a cheeky 4+, but you only ever need 1 to work. So the more players within that AoE, the better. Realistically, when you're looking at a cage, there is 5 opportunities to take out one part of the cage, whether it's the ball carrier or a corner, to open up a blitz on your turn at that ball carrier. Again, 3% chance. So when you think about a wizard and you think about, okay, right, 150k is a lot. For 50k more, I can basically take Zug, or a Zug-like creature. Yeah, but can Zug take out a cage on his own? Yeah, I guess he kind of can, and he can do it for 16 turns, but you get a really good shot here at blowing up some of that cage, or all of it. And I guess it's not great to think best case scenario mentality here, but just imagine a cheeky 4+ roll working on every single one of these players, and then you get to roll Mighty Blow for them as well. The Wizard's Fireball, the area of effect, if it pulls off, you basically buy yourself another possession. That's why it's so impactful. And this is what I was just talking through. Basically, if there's one target, there is a 50% chance that wizard is not going to do stuff. If there's 2 targets, there's a 25% chance that that wizard will not do anything. 3 targets, 12%. 4 targets, 6%. 5 targets, which is that perfect cage scenario, 3.1%. 6 targets, you've got a 98% chance of blowing up at least one guy, and then you've just straight up 99% it if there's 7 targets. If there is 7 targets in a 9 square box though, 1, it's a fantastic lick your lips fireball moment, but secondly, you're going to need a lot of successes for that ball to be able to clear out. So if you are in a situation where you've got a fireball, 4, 5, 6, 7 targets, gives you great odds to take out some players, to do some damage, and then create an opening for you to actually Blood Bowl your way into a turnover. So as we're talking about blowing stuff up, it makes sense to talk about the stats of blowing up one of those dudes in that cage and breaking their armor. Now, our goal with the wizard is to knock somebody prone, create an opening, drop the ball. That's fantastic. However, when Nuffle gives you lemons, use them to throw them at the opponent until they die. So armor 5+, you've got a 45.8% chance of breaking that armor, of knocking them down and breaking the armor. So obviously we've applied the 50% fail rate from using the wizard, and we've got the fireballs +1 mighty blow on breaking the armor, because it's much more important to get that cheeky stun in. So you are hitting the tree man in the cage. It's a 50% chance of knocking him down. All in all, an 8.4% chance of breaking his armor as well. Dwarves, if you've got a bunch of dwarves together, you've got a 13.9% chance for each one of them to knock them down and break their armor. Armor 9+, 20.8%. Armor 8+, 29.2%. So basically 1 in 3 elves standing around in that cage is going to get knocked down and have their armor broken. Armor 7+, this is where it gets really juicy, 36.1%. Armor 6+, 41.6%. And Armor 5+, 45.8%. So if you've played against Snotlings and you've played against Noblars before, you'll know that they are stunty and titchy and very, very dodgy. So being able to call in an orbital strike to nuke them is potentially the only way to make sure. And you know what? It's going to be awful. And if that is fun for you, then this potentially is very much the right game. So not all wizards like to blow things up with fire, apparently. Some like to turn people into frogs as well. It's just kind of like, these are like the 2 most quintessential things that wizards do. Really, isn't it? Turn people into frogs and set things aflame. So Zap is the alternate mode, and it can be used. You may cast this spell either at the start of any of the opposition's team turns before any player is activated, or immediately after any of the opposition team turns has ended. Target right, so you can cast this at the end of their turn or at the beginning of their turn before anything happens. Weird timings. Basically, the end of somebody's turn, you pick a target player. It is an opponent's target player, which is a bit of a shame because there might be some kind of weird edge case where you can turn one of your own players into a frog and use it to your advantage. Not seeing it. Anyway, you pick a dude and then you roll a dice. If that dice is equal to or greater than their strength, they get turned into a frog for the remainder of the drive. So movement 5, strength 1, edge 2+, passing no, armor 5+, dodge, leap, no hands, stunty, titchy, very long legs. So these guys are leaping around on edge 2+, with a -2 to the negative modifiers to a minimum of 1 negative modifier when leaping. There you go, but realistically they are 2+, stunty, titchy, dodging everywhere forever. Okay, 2++, they're here. They're only movement 5 and they're now only strength 1. There are also armor 5+. Now this is the really interesting thing here, is you turn a dude into a frog, it gets no hands. If it has the ball, it drops the ball. It drops the ball, which does not cause a turnover. So that one they didn't have to change the timing. So if they've got a ball carrier, you can simply turn them into a frog, assuming your die roll is going to be good enough. Now, if you then knock them the heck out of dodge and murder them, okay, any casualty result becomes a badly hurt. So if you just straight up break their armor because they're stunty, basically anything on a 9+ is just a badly hurt. You cannot kill them as a frog, you cannot do anything like that. Basically they are protected by that transmorph situation. So they drop the ball. Basically, let's have a look at the results of this one. So wizarding and zapping. If they are strength 1, you can turn a snotling automatically into a frog. Now the only boon you'll get there basically is that they now have leap, which is why I kind of thought it would be fun, but they also have no hands. So if there is a snotling ball carrier, you can nuke them with a fireball for all the lols, or you can just straight up immediately no hands them. Now, I've had a look at the rules. It doesn't say that a 1 is an automatic failure. It also, in the front of the rulebook, says that each test determines whether a 1 is an automatic failure. So you do just get to straight up frogify anything that's strength 1. Strength 2, though, this is the sweet spot. This is the one that I think we're going to see a lot of. It is 83% to turn a gutter runner into a frog. That is probably the best situation to be using zapping, okay? Even if they've caged, whatever else the heck is going on, that gutter is immediately turned into a frog. Then, when they're armor 5+ and stunty, it is not very difficult to foul them out of the game. And I think that's probably a sneaky benefit here of Zap, is you take them out for a drive, but they're going to pop the ball out, and then they are so fragile that you should be able to just nuke them the old-fashioned boots in, spikes on kind of way, which is pretty cool. If they're a strength 3 player, it's a 67% chance. Everybody knows that 3+ is the worst roll in Blood Bowl. Strength 4 is a cheeky 50+, strength 5 33, and strength 6 16. So when it comes to those larger players, you might be just better off using a fireball at that point. Anything from strength 4 onwards, yes, it's quite funny to turn them into a frog and then foul them out of existence temporarily. But for a situational point of view, that fireball is going to do more work. When it comes to Zap, automatically being able to turn a strength 1 ball carrier into a frog is going to be useful. Just straight up, they get no hands. When it comes to gutter runners as well, that cheeky 2+ is going to be massive to, again, drop that ball and then foul them off the pitch. Anything more than that, and you're probably better off using a fireball, because if you look at the success rate of a strength 3 player, 67%, if that ball carrier and somebody else are standing next to each other, you have got a 75% chance of one of them being knocked down and mighty blown against. So you've got better odds using a fireball if there's 2 or more players, if they're strength 3 or anything basically. So fireball has a massive advantage and has a massive area of effect advantage, but Zap is going to be useful for knocking those gutters into frogs, and then whatever the heck the strength 1 player is, just fouling them and nuking them off the pitch with your feet. So I'm going to summarize this in one very simple sentence. Wizards are expensive but much fun. Okay, and this is why I think we should have unlimited wizards. Then we can have tournaments where there's like just absolute wizard enclaves. It would just be absolute carnage. It'd be really good fun. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think of wizards in Blood Bowl 2020. I know this is just one of like 15 wizards. Don't worry. As Theory Thursday goes on, I'm sure I'm going to be able to get excited about another wizard. For example, the Ogre Firebelly one. Kind of interested in running the numbers on just how many players in a row you can nuke. Death Zone. What a book. Anyway, guys, I am going to go and take more antihistamines because summer is here, and I'll be back tomorrow with more Blood Bowl content. Happy wizarding. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the show even further, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Or come and join us in our Patreon, link below, where you get early access to our content and monthly competitions. See you later.